What's up, everybody? What's up? It is November 12th, 2018, and we got BitBoy Crypto here today. How you doing,
What's
BitBoy?
up? I'm doing good.
That's awesome, awesome. Yeah, so we'll let the stream populate a little bit. This is a live stream with BitBoy. BitBoy, where are you located, man?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Originally from there?
Yeah.
Braves fan?
Oh yeah, Braves fan, Falcons fan. We had a tough loss yesterday.
Yeah.
But,
Whew.
oh yeah.
Uh,
Lost to the Browns. That doesn't get lower than that.
Yeah.
That is a bad one. I don't even watch football, and I know that's a bad team. So,
Yeah. Browns, I think the city of Cleveland, other than LeBron, is the epitome
Yeah.
of the joke. The joke of the city.
Well, people say that, but I have to say Atlanta, I feel like we're a much more tortured fan base than anywhere else because we've won one championship the whole time I've been alive, and it was in baseball. And we went to 14 straight division championships. We only won one World Series. Then we had the Super Bowl that we're known as 28-3 for the rest of our lives. I was at that game. And then, of course, Georgia against Alabama, we did the exact same thing. So we're so good at getting right there and then choking. I would almost rather be irrelevant.
I think I've come on the wrong show.
Yeah, we can talk sports all day. I got a second YouTube channel about sports coming out soon. So.
Yeah, okay.
Really? Okay. Or is that a joke?
No, well, it's a sports memorabilia. It's called Sports Breaks. It's like this new thing where basically I'm buying a bunch of sports memorabilia, and I don't know if you guys know how people like bet on squares for the Super Bowl. It's kind of that same thing. People pay like $15 for a spot, and then they have a chance to win up to like a $3,000 helmet.
Awesome,
So,
man.
yeah, it's a new thing. So it's gonna be pretty fun, I think.
Yeah, this is American football, James.
Real football.
Not
I have Muhammad Ali's signature and Michael Jordan and Mike Tyson and a lot of them. I actually had dinner with Mike Tyson.
Wow.
sick.
Was your ear a dessert?
Actually, I'll show you something. It's a 1 kilo silver bar signed by Iron Mike Tyson. I actually got him to sign Iron as well, which he never does. So it's a
Wow.
1 kilo silver
That's
bar.
pretty dope. Yeah.
So one of a
That's cool.
kind.
That's
You
awesome.
just keep a silver bar at your desk?
Why not? Like you?
That's
do you have a
awesome. No, I'm not criticizing. I
Hashtag
think it's
back
awesome.
tokens, brother.
Man, sell
Maybe you have a gold bar at your desk.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I wish I had a gold bar, actually. But I
I would be happy to have a gold bar at my desk.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, welcome to Trader
Yeah.
Talk.
What's that?
We are here to do all sorts of crypto things and talk about crypto and the current state of the market. So right now, biggest story of the week, what's hot, what's on your mind? I want to go one by one here. Let's start with you, BitBoy. Let's put you on the spotlight.
Yeah, I think one of the stories that comes to my mind, a lot of people may not think it's the biggest story by any stretch of the imagination, but I've been very critical of EOS for quite a long time. I'm not a fan of Dan Larimer at all. I think EOS is potentially going to be the biggest disaster in all of crypto with a $4 billion ICO. And then this week he came out and said, that the focus and the goal of EOS is not decentralization. And I thought that was like for him to actually come out and say that, I thought that was bad. I mean, you raise $4 billion in your ICO. And like, if you're not trying to do something that's decentralized, then what's the purpose of what we're all doing here? We have, if you want to have centralized applications, we have those, and we have computers and phones that can run them with no problems. And like I said, with being so critical on him in the past, I think him saying that this week, that really struck a nerve. And it stemmed from where they I don't even know how to say it. But basically some people at EOS reversed transactions this week. Arbiters, yeah, what was the word? I can't remember. Arbitrators. I couldn't say it. I don't know why I couldn't say it. But arbitrators at EOS this week reversed some transactions. And, that going hand in hand, I just think, I warn people about EOS. Maybe it'll be successful down the road, maybe 4 or 5 years, who knows. But I think if you're in on that project, I think he got suckered.
Yeah,
So-
unfortunately, I mean, if you got in during the ICO, you're still pretty up, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're pretty cushy right now. But unfortunately, EOS is, I think it's just one of the biggest hot topics of this entire industry. You know, it's just a $4 billion. What is it? $2 billion ICO.
$4 billion.
$4 billion.
4 billion.
So I was
4
right the
billion.
first time. So
Yeah.
4
Year-long ICO, $4 billion
Yeah.
raised. And especially the fact that the whole point of, at least the way I understood it, is I just sort of wrapped my mind around this. The whole point of them keeping the ICOs open so long was so that they could let the block producers choose themselves, which is cool. And like the whole idea of we're not doing anything with these tokens. Like if you read in the original EOS white paper, and it's like, you're buying Ethereum tokens that we don't know are going to be good at all at any point ever. And so the idea behind that was so that individual block producers would launch the protocol instead of EOS. So if going through all of that and saying you don't care about decentralization, that tells me the only reason they went through that was to protect their own selves. Because when I was thinking about it, I'm like, the reason they must have done this is to maximize decentralization, right? They're like, listen, we didn't actually start it. We raised it. We built the computer code and then said, can you guys please launch these things in an effort to keep it decentralized? But
Why
if
do you need
they're
$4 billion?
saying,
Honestly, why do you need $4 billion? Like, you could literally,
Great question.
you could literally take everyone to the moon. You know, with that much money. Not everyone,
Yeah.
but at least us in this stream.
Yeah.
Right. So why did they need to raise that much capital in order for?
Yeah, I remember a long time ago they said we just don't need this amount. That was a few months ago. They said we just don't need that much amount, but that's just how it turned out.
Yeah.
right.
Fair enough.
The market gave them that much money, but
Yeah.
would the market have given them that much money if they didn't leave the ICO open for so long?
Well, that's the thing. This is the same issue with Tezos, right? You know, they were
Yep.
only raised 30 million, but then ETH and Bitcoin exploded, and then they were like $1 billion company or something like that. And they reinvested their funds, and so now they have still a lot of capital left, right? And they don't know if it belongs to the investors or if it belongs to the foundation, the Tezos Foundation, right? So that's a similar quorum that Tezos is having, the same thing as the same thing as EOS. So that was actually not going to be mine. So my big thing that I was looking out for this week was BAT being listed to Coinbase.
Oh yeah.
And as you know, and as everybody knows, is that by the time they announce it, like, hey, we're going to be listing on Coinbase, it's already priced in, right? It's already priced in. So as soon as people, try to FOMO in, they're just going to get hurt 15, 20%. And that's what I always say. If you're ever trying to trade on a Coinbase listing report, it's already too late. A rumor.
Buy the rumor, tell the news.
Right, like Lumens, like people think Lumens is going to be listed on Coinbase, right? Stellar Lumens. But have we seen that priced in? I think we have a little bit. I think we have seen a lot of speculative money come into Lumens. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. And with that, I see when the market picks up, BAT's going to arise basically because there's going to be easy access to it. There's exchanges in Australia. Once they list a coin, more people, newbies come in, they see those cheap coins and they start buying them. So it pushes the price up a little bit. So I can see that in the US with Coinbase as well. But yeah, there's definitely buy the rumor, sell the news going on.
Yeah, I completely agree. Do you guys think Q4 is going to be a big month for crypto? With all the backed and ETFs, or do you think that's just all hype?
Hype.
Yeah, you think it's hype?
We'll see. I mean,
I don't think we're seeing anything. I mean, I suppose are you asking that in relative terms? Could we see an increase from where we sit right now? Sure, maybe. Do we see anything compared to how it went at the end of the year last year? I don't think so. I think there's not enough FOMO to be had amongst noobs. Like, you know, I hate to use the term, but there's amongst the uninitiated, there's not enough FOMO to be had. People are still very cautious after many of their friends that they knew got wrecked last year from buying at the top.
Well, there was a story this week about, gosh, I can't remember who it was by or it was some big investment group. I can't remember which one it was, but someone was quoted saying that they have possibly a multi-billion-dollar investment once the ETF gets approved, already ready to roll in. And so if we do get those things coming in and we have people investing multi-billion-dollar investments, of course, we know the market cap is a lot on leverage, then there's really no telling how much that could actually move the market. Based on where the bull run was last year, somebody did like some research and found out that I think it was $23 million of actual money invested in Bitcoin on one exchange actually moved the total market cap like $1 billion. And so based on that, if you have an actual multi-billion-dollar investment, then I don't know, we could see, you know, at least the volume go up considerably.
I completely agree. But considering there's only probably around 600 to 700,000 Bitcoin that's actually being traded back and forth. You know, it could drastically impact the price. You know, we're used to seeing the market cap, you know, 17 million, but that's not what's actually being traded, right? That's not what's actually fungible in the pool. And I always like to bring this up is that Bitcoin is largely, or Bitcoin holders, early Bitcoin investors and holders are largely ideological, right? So I don't think they'll be selling anytime soon. I don't think they'll be selling unless you follow our channel, and then we're just like sell, you know, buy, you know. But if you're not, and you're just a passive holder and you're in it for the tech, which, you know, I'm in it for the tech, but I'm also in it for the money. I think,
of course we are.
Yeah,
it is money. Anybody who says that they're not, it is money. Anybody who says that they're not here for the money is deluding themselves. Yeah, we're in a market that's specifically, we are building future money. That's what this space is. So anybody that says they're not here for the money is tripping.
Well, the distinction I draw, and I did a poll, and it's weird, I did this poll on Twitter and nobody understood what I was trying to say. So let me see if I can say it correctly. There's two different types of people in crypto. There is one group of people, they are in it for the money only. That's literally the only thing they care about. If there was a project that could potentially destroy crypto, but yet it could make them $1 million, they would invest in it. Totally. And then there's other people who, yes, of course, that's when we came in initially was for the money, but we're about a bigger movement, a bigger revolution. That's why we're also passionate about what we're doing. This is not just dollars and cents to us, but at some level, we all care about the money. But, you know, that's like, for me personally, I won't buy XRP. I will not do it. I don't care. I tell people it's a great investment. I think people are going to make a lot of money on it. I could make a lot of money on it. However, it's not something I'm going to do because I have a platform and I like to, you know, my words and my beliefs line up with my actions. And so that's why personally I won't do it.
Yeah. I met some people that were in it from early on, and they're you can say they're in it for the tech as long as they're making a decent wage. They want their legacy to be what they've done in tech relation, what they've built in the blockchain, not what money they have at the end of it.
Yeah. You know, man, I don't know. I'm still of the opinion that Q4 is pretty much going to be flat. So I'm kind of on the side of Jason. But here's the thing, right? If you look at the Grayscale crypto report, we actually put this in our channel. The weekly inflows on average that they've been seeing since, I don't know, like March or February, all the way till July. Okay, so that's pretty much, you know, Q3, right? It's about $9.5 million average of, you know, just money inflows going into the top 10, you know, market cap coins. Okay, that's a decent amount, but it's not a huge spike up as compared to what we saw at the end of last year. So to get to that, you know, at least the all-time high, we're going to have to see significant inflows of money. Again, and this is another thing to point out, retailers do not move the market. We could put all our money together and we will not move the market. We might move like a shitty, like, you know, coin that's, you know, 1,500 ranked. That's really about it. But we're not moving no Bitcoin. We're not moving no Ethereum, right? So you want to focus on institutional money and exactly where that's going and when that's ramping up. and clearly it hasn't.
And
was that what was happening last year?
I think last year was a different case because there's actually a report written by John Griffin. He's from the University of Texas. He actually stated how there was a lot of big whale traders who used Tether to manipulate the price of Bitcoin and pump it. I don't fully understand it because I'm not as technical as that guy is, but I could totally see how Tether could be fuel to drive up or drive down the prices. Clearly, we saw that like 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? I mean, you saw that the Tether prices dump and then shot up Bitcoin because when people started pouring back money coming out of Tether, going into Bitcoin. So you saw the Bitcoin price shoot up.
And that was Tether itself putting the money back in, possibly. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, it could, also be a ton of people, hitting their stops on Tether, or, however you want to look at it, just being like, oh shit, my stable coin is tanking. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm going to go into Bitcoin,
It's true.
But yeah.
That's very true. And like the things that we're seeing on, what makes me really upset is the things that we're seeing on TradingView right now, all the top posts, like right now, the #1 post under BTC USD, it says we will be at $25,000 by March, which is ridiculous, right? I think we could all agree that's ridiculous.
It gets the most views, though.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I'm guilty of putting stuff in, but my title sometimes. Wording stuff as a question. Bitcoin to this price by this time. But it's just what people want to see. And I think there's a part of that that's like, I mean, that's healthy. Like people want to see something that's positive. It's kind of like on the news. The news is negative all the time, and when you hear people saying like, "Oh, I don't want to see it," so I think at least giving people some hope, but of course not. I try to be unbiased and like say, "Oh, this guy said this prediction," but more realistically, I think we'd be lucky to be around 10,000 by Christmas.
But so that's the problem. It's not like, hey, like, oh, China is unbanning, the sale of tiger claws and rhino horns and things like that, which they just did do, which is crazy. But besides that point, it's I think this space is a little different because when you do post really positive news like that, people start to FOMO in and lose money. Hey, I think it's going to go into 25,000 in the next 4 months. They just start throwing money and saying, hey, this guy is always right. But even though he's the most popular and with 20,000 views in the last day, and the next person is 10,000 views, you could tell it's just complete bullshit, right? I don't even think that's reasonable. Right, we do us as YouTubers and influencers.
Same people that
we have a responsibility.
$5,
right? But we do have a responsibility that we shouldn't overly shill and think that it's going to go to $25,000. So and I'm not going to call this guy out, but I don't know him, so I'll call him out. Wave trader. I don't know who he is, but but
it's always like ding 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 whoop. Every single chart is like, oh, look here.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the moon now. Now.
You see that with YouTubers. Yeah. Any YouTuber that's doing bullish TA, and I think there's a difference between people that are doing TA and everybody else because people watch my channel for news.
Right.
But TA people are watching those channels looking for signs for what they should do with their money. And when you got people that's all they do is bullish TA and, Bitcoin's going to 100,000 by January, like that's crazy. It doesn't make sense. And I wonder personally, like how these guys that do that type of TA, I can name 2 or 3 of them on YouTube. I don't know how they can keep this much steam going for this long. Like, how can you have been promising people a $25,000 Bitcoin for 6 months in a row now, and people are still coming to watch on your channel? It's crazy.
It's that money, dude. It's that money,
that's
right?
True.
Like,
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, and some of them are really entertaining. They're really entertaining. They sing in the beginning of their videos. They've supported many Ponzi schemes and many scams in the past, but you can't, for some reason, if you're entertaining enough, it doesn't matter. Like, look, half the population watches the Kardashians. They're dumb as bricks.
Yeah.
But they're entertaining, right? But there's a difference between entertaining and financial advice. But by the way, we are not financial advisors here. All right.
But so let's talk about, that's actually something that I think specifically, Amal, you've been on YouTube a bunch now, Sneh and I obviously on the channel, Ben, you've got your own channel. Here is something I want to know from you guys. I have seen a number of people coming into our Facebook group or whatever and just trying to slam our technical analysis. And I think this is a new kind of, it's kind of like how these other people are trying to organize smear campaigns. I really think that there are certain groups that are going out there specifically trying to be like, this TA is shit. What, like, I had somebody call me out for using Raise, and Ben, I know you don't do TA, so whatever, but I had somebody call me out for using Raise instead of like a trend line that doesn't extend. And they're like, what a rook. I was like, who cares? You can still see the shape. The point is I'm looking for the shape of the ascending wedge or whatever. And I just saw a bunch of people like pile on about that. So I guess my question there is, do you guys think that that is something that we're going to have another factor to deal with? Like, we all know there's a lot of garbage technical analysis out there. We all know that there's, you know, I mean, we've just been talking about it. People are like, Bitcoin to 250K tomorrow. And people are like, oh, follow this guy because he must know. That's what we want to hear. At what threat level, like at what DEF CON level are we with idiots, right? I mean, with this kind of behavior where people are just going to come in and try to blow up their channel by smashing down others that have already established.
I mean, we're pretty high up there, dude. Like, if you look on crypto Twitter, the amount of, you know, delusion that's out there, I'm really appalled that some of these people are even allowed to post. Like, listen, I'm all about free speech, but fuck, man, like, somebody needs to like take away, you know, your oxygen. Like, you should not be, you know, you should not be putting out bullshit like that, especially allowing other people to, you know, take your word as financial advice and like, you know, expend money on trades or something. It's ridiculous, man.
I know of pump groups, you know, and different Twitter pump groups saying, hey, like, let's pump. Lux Coin was a big one where everyone just pumped Lux Coin. What the hell is Lux Coin? I couldn't tell you, but it was pumped, you know. And Capri Coin, yeah, early on in my career, when I was a 4chan crypto star on Biz, you know, I was involved in a lot of pump and dump schemes, but I wasn't participating in them because I wasn't an influencer, but I was losing money on them. So I learned my lesson.
That's all they are. I mean, the only people making money are the people doing the pump.
Yeah, that's true.
The organizers. That's it. They're the only, they screw the people over because they're never going to tell you the right time to get out. So
yeah, I totally agree.
Smoking mirrors.
It's definitely a sad state of affairs, man. And it's really sad that the number one, you know, TA on TradingView is the one that's the most ridiculous, absurd prediction.
Yeah. Sensation sells, right? Sensation sells.
They just want to be told what they just want to hear what they want to hear. They don't really care about accuracy or legitimacy. Or, you know, they're just like, oh God, I've lost so much money. My feelings are so hurt. Can somebody please make me feel better? And this guy's like, I'll make you feel better. 250K, follow me, dude.
That being said, in 2017, I had a modest, early 2017, late 2016, I had a modest crypto profile, right? Completely modest, you know, nothing too exorbitant, you know, 6 figures and under, right? Under 6 figures. And then all of a sudden, crypto blows up and people literally started feeling euphoric. I felt euphoric. I used to wake up and I'm like, oh shit, you know, I made like $80,000 overnight. You know, that was the euphoria. That was the dopamine and serotonin that was just building up in everyone's head. It's like, oh my God, like, I'm rich as hell. Like, I'm gonna go buy a yacht or something, which was true at the time. You know, where if you actually liquidated at that time, you would have made a lot of money. But what happens is just like gambling, right? Where you just keep chasing that high. You keep chasing that high. And I feel like we still have people, you know, especially on TradingView and a lot of the TradingView community and the Twitter star community, where everyone's still chasing that high. We're addicts. You know, we're all-time high addicts. That's what we are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. No, I really think that, at least in the Cryptosomniac community, man, we do a really good job at having balanced technicals, right? I mean, I'm more than happy to be called out or call myself out and state my losses, right? And we have plenty, right? We have plenty of losses, but the thing that makes you a good trader and investor is that your losses are small and your winners are big. That's it. If you are someone who can shill on, crypto Twitter, and you can always say that, yo, I made like a 200% ROE on BitMEX. All right, man, show me your entire dollar amount value and your BTC value. Let's see it all,
That's true.
Right? Like, let's see how much leverage you're using, how much money you actually put in.
That's true. Yeah, put your money where your mouth is. That would be a very interesting DApp to create, where you pull APIs, everything's decentralized, and people are able to head off just like that.
Yeah.
But I won't be the one creating it.
Everybody's telling us about technical indicators right now. Apparently, death cross on the 3-day approaching. Yeah, Bitcoin just took a dump and bounced off the, what is this, the 0.5? No, that's clear down. Yeah, that's bouncing off the 786. So for anybody who wanted to know about that, there's your short news update. Bitcoin taking a dip.
Live TA, yeah. Which is really interesting that Bitcoin is taking a dip right now, considering that all 750 Tether grants were printed. Because usually what we've seen when we have those printed, it was you usually see a jump, and we didn't see it this time. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think the market's adapting. I think the market. Yeah. I mean, Tether is still the most widely used stable coin. Do the italics. But there's huge competitors coming up. Things like Trust Token, TUSD, and USDC, and Paxos, which is on Binance. Yeah. So it's losing some steam on a lot of exchanges. That's why I think it's already. I think that whole people have identified it's a scam. It's a volatile asset, and it should not be relied upon. So I think it is priced in, where even if you print a billion Tether, I don't think. I mean, it's going to affect the market, but I don't think a lot of the people are falling for it this time.
Yeah. Well, 750 million didn't affect it today, so
yeah.
I don't know if a billion would either.
Well, here's the thing. They printed 750, but that doesn't mean it's 750 in circulation, right? Yeah. That means I think the issuance, if you look at the Tether website, I think the issuance takes around 3 to 4 business days. Mm-hmm. So we may see a price jump later on this week. And then, I'm not trying to look like a genius, but that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's so maybe within 24 hours. I wasn't thinking later on in the week, maybe.
Right, and especially as Thanksgiving and the holidays come up, where people are coming together, people seeing each other for a long time. Hey, like, what's up? How you doing? Cryptocurrencies is, it could be. I think it's a family discussion.
It's time to infect your family.
My family always talks about it. They're like, "Oh yeah, you remember when it was 20,000? Why didn't you sell?" Always teasing.
Told you it was a scam.
I was sitting in the room when they told him that the other day.
Rip.
We told you to sell. It's just like, oh.
They've been telling me to sell my Bitcoin. My family, they've been telling me to sell my Bitcoin for since it was $1,000. Right. So I'm glad I didn't listen. Right. They've been. Like I bought Ethereum at like $9 or $11 on Coinbase. They've been telling me to sell it since it was 20. So they're all about having physical, tangible assets, as most of the old world is. I don't want to classify my parents as old world, but yeah, I mean they're just not going to understand or the concept or grasp the concept of digital money that's rare.
Previous generation.
Gold. I bought it at 13 and sold it 100, and I can tell you it was a bad idea.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. I mean, in a couple years, you'll regret every single Satoshi that you've ever sold, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Hopefully, that's the plan.
The market's looking strange at the moment. There's been a lot of OTC buy accumulation, and then the shorts are down so low. I haven't seen anything like it before. So, but they haven't gone long. Most of them have just come out of short positions, probably let's say 25% went long, and the rest are just out of the market, just waiting. So it's looking interesting. I was kind of hoping the shorts would build up and we could squeeze them like we did in April, and then have a catalyst like ETFs come in, a non-price action catalyst. So something's gearing up to happen.
So Bitfinex, their OTC markets for 5,000 Bitcoin, right now they're priced at 68.80, according to my OTC guys. And then there's a couple other ones, and everything's selling at a premium right now. Is that what you're seeing, James?
Yeah, so sellers just aren't giving discounts, not like the start of the year. The discounts are quite rare, and usually those guys that have the big holdings already have relationships with desks and liquidity providers. So if you see a giant sell order come out with massive discount, it's just a bunch of crap. There's especially when there's a bunch of intermediaries there. So spot plus up to 3% premium, 0.5% to 3% depending. It'd be in tranches of 1,000 Bitcoin. It all depends on what it is, but yeah, generally spot plus a premium.
That's crazy to me. That's just so crazy to me. Just the like when you look at exchanges and most of it is just exchange back and forth and margin traders. Margin traders make up a lot of the volume, right? And it's not just traditional. Hey, I'm putting $500 in for $500 Bitcoin. That's not how it usually works. But the amount of things that are happening in OTC, it's remarkable. There's several 100,000 being bought and sold per day, right?
That's
OTC.
massive.
Yeah, it's massive. It's a massive market, and I just think it's, because if you have money, you're not going to put it in the open market. That's just the reality, right? You're not going to do it. But yeah. So me and BitBoy just went over our hot thing of the week. It's up to you now, Jason.
Oh, I got a good one.
Yeah.
Is Craig Wright Satoshi?
Oh.
And if he is, why would he tell anyone? What purpose would that actually serve? If Bitcoin has gone as this fully decentralized with this nebulous leader for this long, what benefit could it possibly give to reveal yourself as Satoshi now, except for I don't know, marketing leverage?
Yeah, so people follow him and listen to him. It's simple as that.
What in the Australian crypto community? What is the consensus on Craig Wright, James, as our resident Australian?
Yeah, no one ever talks about him. He's more talked about in American media.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we don't talk about him. There was only that news when he came out and said he was Satoshi, and then it kind of blew over. He doesn't garner any interest here.
Wow.
I think it's hilarious that he did garner so much support in the community. And then, how many of you guys saw Roger Ver's video from last Thursday? I guess it was.
I haven't watched it.
I know.
I haven't yet.
Oh my God, it's a doozy.
Yeah, I need to see it.
Yeah. And then
I've been moving this week.
Tone Vase recently had Craig Wright on, yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is some. This is why I've never touched Bitcoin Cash. I've never, ever touched Bitcoin Cash. I've never suggested it. I've never smiled in its direction. I've never been provocative next to it. I've never suggested anyone to ever touch Bitcoin Cash. And this is the reason. It's because dilemmas like Roger Ver and Craig Wright, who are just terrible spokespersons for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, it makes me so mad. It's just ridiculous.
Well, do you guys know about the conspiracy theory about Dave Kleiman? Do you guys know who it is?
So I saw Jeff Garzik say Dave Kleiman was Satoshi, right? And obviously he's passed away now.
Right.
He was very early into the Bitcoin and crypto community. Either he was in direct contact with Satoshi or he is Satoshi. Nobody really knows.
Yeah, so the conspiracy is that and this actually still I tend to think it's Hal Finney, that's my thought on it, but it's pretty interesting. which is, why would Craig Wright come out and say Satoshi? Well, I don't have the reason on why he would do it, but what would give him the audacity to come forward and say, I am Satoshi, and just stick to it no matter how much proof gets thrown at him? Well, it would be the fact that he knew who Satoshi was, and Satoshi is dead. Therefore, he knows that no one can come behind him and say unequivocally, I am Satoshi. If Dave Kleiman were in fact Satoshi, Craig Wright worked very closely with him. They were partners on a couple of things. Dave Kleiman's family has actually sued Craig Wright. I don't know what that was last year sometime. I don't know what the final result of that lawsuit was. But Dave Kleiman died under very, very suspicious circumstances. He did have a disease, but when they found him, they said it was a very, very grisly scene. They said it was natural causes, yet it was a huge mess all in the room, and there was a bullet hole in the wall. But they said he drank himself to death. So I don't know. It's definitely an interesting theory. And the only thing that makes me think that there could be some truth to it is just the fervor that Craig Wright has by saying he's Satoshi. It would make no sense to do that unless you knew that the real Satoshi could never come behind you.
But here's the thing. I think if you say you're Satoshi, you're automatically not Satoshi.
I agree 100% with that.
Because Satoshi never
100%.
wanted to be revealed ever.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't want a figurehead. Right. He just wanted an ethos out there. No pun intended. And
it just doesn't line up. Like that, his attitude and behavior, it doesn't line up with what we've seen in the writings and the forum posts and all that of Satoshi.
He's far too bombastic, outspoken, loud, and just that's his actions are not the actions of the person that would anonymously create
100%
world money. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's all about the Genesis block, right? If you could prove that you're the owner of the Genesis block, which is the first block of Bitcoin, which Satoshi owns, then you win my respect, I guess.
He can't do it.
Yeah, he can't do it. No, I don't think anyone alive can do it. Yeah.
I think it's better if Satoshi is dead. Honestly,
I agree.
I think because if you look at somebody that was alive, I know they're always talking about Satoshi's vision. What if Satoshi was here and he could come out and say what his vision was, and over time that vision could actually change? I think it adds to the almost legendary status of Satoshi, and that's one thing that really separates Bitcoin from everything else. It's almost mythical the way it was created.
That's true. That's true. And the dead create martyrs, right? So he is our figurehead, and I think he'll always be our figurehead until Craig Wright buys CNN or something and then says, hey, he's Satoshi.
What about the legal repercussions from being Satoshi? It's like Charlie Shrem, he went to jail for selling Bitcoin that was used on the Silk Road where he didn't really do anything wrong.
He laundered it.
Yeah, but I wonder if there's legal repercussions for actually creating Bitcoin. If there's because I remember the FBI started looking, and I think Hal Finney was one of the last guys to talk to Satoshi. He's always been my number one as well as possible Satoshi. But the FBI was starting to look for who Satoshi really was, and then he disappeared. So,
well, I don't think a lot of people know this, but SHA-256, the encryption algorithm in Bitcoin, that was released by the NSA in '95.
Interesting.
So the SHA protocol was released by the NSA in '95.
Wait, I thought it was developed by the Brits in '76.
I was told it was.
Really?
Hold on.
Shock.
Let us do this. Okay. SHA-256.
We're gonna solve the mystery tonight. Wow.
We're gonna find out who Satoshi is now. Next, All right. So secure hash algorithms.
That's what we should have titled it.
This live stream single-handedly brought down Bitcoin.
All right. Actually, I should probably share my screen. Hold on. Let me share my screen, guys. Share main screen. Okay. You guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. What is going on here? How do I close out of this? Oh, well, there's something happening here. Anyways, anyways, so we have here SHA, which stands for Secure Hash Algorithms, 256. Anyways, SHA, this was designed by the National Security Agency as part of digital signature algorithm. So it was released by the NSA. SHA 256 was also designed by the NSA. So that's also very interesting.
Oh, okay. I just actually no. You're right. I was mistaken. The key pairs of public and private keys, right? The idea of that was actually developed in the 70s by the Brits.
So what was that? What was that guy? Who I don't know. I watched a movie on it about World War II. Never mind.
Oh, you're talking about the
Benedict Cucumber, whatever his name is.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Oh man, what's that movie called?
Imitation Game.
Taylor Soldier Spy.
Imitation Game.
Imitation Game.
Yeah, I think that was it. Imitation Game. Anyways, we've just completely gone off a tangent.
We've gone so far.
He's dropping knowledge in the chat. Secure hash algorithm is a set of cryptographic hash functions designed by the United States National Security Agency. They are built using the Merkle-Damgard, I hope I said that right, structure from one-way compression, function itself built using the Davies-Meyer structure from the classified specialized block cipher. Alan Turing was the guy you were looking for there, Snake.
Oh, the
so
Turing.
this, look at this. Look how educational this show is already. Right?
I did not. That was provided by someone in the chat.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Still educational, right? The more you know.
Thanks, Misha. Shout out.
Yeah.
And your government gave us the Tor browser as well, didn't they? That was the CIA.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, they did the Onion and the Onion Network and Tor browser. Yeah, I mean, but the government also created the internet. And the internet was
no. Senator Al Gore from Tennessee.
Al Gore created the internet.
Well, the internet is a series of tubes. The internet is a series of tubes, all right? That's how he explained the internet. It was a series of tubes. You want to know someone who didn't create the internet? It was Al Gore. And who wasn't?
He was the Craig Wright of the 90s.
Yeah, Craig Wright of the internet.
I need to make a meme on that. That's meme material.
Yeah, it is totally meme material.
So while we're on the subject of Satoshi and Craig Wright and other figureheads, what do you guys think? Is it obviously certain projects have highlighted their figurehead, right? Vitalik with Ethereum, a number of different ones. So oftentimes with a central figure, you can get more things done. Potentially, because they're leading it, a la Steve Jobs, a la Bill Gates, etc. So my question is, when we're trying to build this decentralized technology, is it better or worse to have, is it better or worse to have a strong figurehead leading the project? Thoughts on that?
Such as Snake and Robert Beatles?
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, we got Crypto Beatles and Snaebot just leading the charge on the best wallet in the world.
Here's the thing. I think there's a critical difference here. Okay, I don't think protocols. I think people who create roads, and I love using this example, I don't think should be figureheads. I think if you're trying to create a decentralized protocol like Ethereum or Cardano or quote unquote EOS, I don't think you really need a figurehead per se. Unless you're doing multiple protocol upgrades and things like that, but in that reality, I think that the community should be deciding what protocol upgrades should actually be happening, right? Like you don't decide what kind of road you're going to drive on; you just drive on it. But you can decide what kind of car you're driving on because a car is a DApp, right? So I think DApps need figureheads, and that's where. Me and Mr. Beatles come and play, but I don't think I think protocols should be governed by the people, right? Like EIPs, which is Ethereum Improvement Protocol, and BIPs, which is BIPs, which is Bitcoin Improvement Protocols. That's what caused, was it BIP 168, I think, is what caused the hard fork, right? The Bitcoin Cash hard fork.
I think that's correct, yeah.
So all of these things, require an infrastructure, which is what our government does, right? We vote for people in the government, and then the government creates roads or traffic conditions or different types of lanes no turn on reds, based on our best interests and based on the public opinion, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a good analogy.
Yeah, it is.
I think it sounds good. I think that unfortunately, right now, we are not to that era of crypto yet. And I think this really brings up a fundamental question that I've been struggling with over the last couple of weeks, which is, what is the relationship between price and success when it comes to a project? Because right now, everyone seems to assume that if the price of a project is doing very well, then the project is doing very well. But that doesn't have anything to do with it. It's about the product that they're building. And so right now we're in an era of hype and marketing. And because of that, in my opinion, I think that right now you really need to have a figurehead because they help get the message out. Look at Justin Sun, they help to get the message out about what the project is doing. And that's what separates projects like in the top 100. If you look, show me a project in the top 20 that doesn't have a figurehead. Bitcoin's a little bit different. If you take that one out, I can go down the list and show you, Stellar is
technically has a figurehead. It's just a paperware, right? It's Satoshi Nakamoto. There's somebody.
So, but Stellar doesn't necessarily, but it still has Jed McCaleb, and stuff, even though he tries to stay, I think, behind the scenes. But I think that's a huge difference between, some of the projects that have done well and some that haven't. And I think it's also good if we look at what just happened with Oyster, right? Where, you make sure that whoever is out pushing your message is a real person and isn't, Justin, whatever the guy was from Verge. I think he doxed eventually, but, or Bruno or whatever, people want to have confidence in the person that's speaking for their project. I think if you look at it kind of like this, I was trying to think of an example, like if you have a restaurant that opens up in your town and let's just say the food is phenomenal, right? The food is so phenomenal. At first, they're going to have to do marketing. They're going to have to do advertising. They're going to have to do stuff to get people to that restaurant. But once people go to that restaurant and everybody realizes how great the food is, then it becomes like a great local spot and they don't have to do any advertising. People come into town and what do? They check Yelp. They see what the rating for the best restaurant, and that's where they want to go. They want to go where the locals go. So I think that's kind of similar to where we're at right now. I think maybe 2 to 3 more market cycles down the road, it might be more about the actual product itself. And then at that point, I don't think the spokesperson will have as much to do. You look at Vitalik Buterin saying eventually he wants to step out of that spotlight. So
yeah. Well, some of the best projects I've seen at the moment have no traction, no marketing, no hype, but They have business to business traction. So what's going to happen with them once they start making real world money, which they are starting to do, their value is going to be tied with their actual profits, and then the secondary market will act accordingly. But they're not fueled by hype at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Completely agree.
But don't you think there are a lot of projects like that they might not be able to maintain their project? They might fall apart due to not having funding and stuff because they don't have that marketing traction.
Well, what's actually usable right now?
Base contingent token, break browser. That's about it.
Yep. Some of them are spending a fortune on their marketing, and they're just diluting their the money they've raised, which was meant to go to this, and that, and it's all going to marketing. So they build that hype, and they're paying for crazy priced exchange listings and all this. They're wasting all this money on those kind of things, where these other ones I'm talking about are focusing on that business to business network, and they're gaining traction. They can do the marketing later once they have some traction, and with their partnerships they've built, that's going to be start some of their marketing campaigns. Yeah, it's a tough one, but I do see a lot of them just wasting a ton of money on marketing, and it's not translating properly, and spending a fortune on like a Binance listing or something like that. It's just
How many of you guys hold Dash? Show of hands.
Hold Dash?
Yeah.
I mean, I might have.
Nobody. That's my whole point. None of us hold Dash that I'm aware of. Yeah. I see their ads everywhere, and we're crypto people. And if we're crypto people and we're not adopting it when their ads are everywhere, does that translate to, my pal who saw the Dash ad on the heads up, on the back of the seat cam and the in the airplane,
So
or
what
you
Dash
know,
is trying to do? What Dash is trying to do is they're trying to reinvent the standard, right? They're trying to reinvent gold, right? What other companies I think that'll be more successful is gold delivery services, right? Instead of saying, "Hey, this is the new gold," no, why don't you just use the old gold and actually just deliver it more efficiently? You know, that's why I think, especially in these marketplaces, things like Uber and things like Airbnb and Postmates and DoorDash, why you know they're having these multi-billion-dollar valuations is because it's a P2P economy, right? And what Dash is trying to do is not really a P2P economy. What they're doing is let's create masternodes. Let's get all of us super rich and continue to be super rich by creating more Dash out of thin air. And that's our business model.
That's why I think none of us own it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean yeah.
So to answer your question, yeah, maybe a random person that doesn't know about Dash and know about its beginnings and some of the sketchier stuff involved in it. I don't know anything for sure. I mean, I don't want to throw shade on the Dash community, but from my research and what I've done over the last, really this last few months, I've discovered a lot of stuff I don't like about it. Your random buddy, he might, be in a Dash. I know when I was first getting into altcoins and Dash was doing quite well, that was something I was looking at, is, oh man, this price, it's so high, this might be a good project. And that's the way your beginner altcoin investor is going to think. So,
well, I guess, I mean, again, I'm not the biggest fan of Dash, but I do believe that Dash is being used pretty significantly in countries like Venezuela. And I think they're also ramping up their, inflows in, economies that actually need them. Our economy, this is another thing that, most people don't understand about cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. It's that, the American economy, the American US dollar is not something that requires Bitcoin yet, okay? Our institutions and our financial system are significantly stronger than 98% of, the countries and nation states. But Venezuela and Argentina and Spain and Italy, these countries, have and will use this more often. And Venezuela is already using Dash quite a bit.
Right, but I don't think the people that are using Dash understand the qualities behind Dash and what makes it so.
Of course
bad.
not. Yeah,
but they don't need to, right? Like, I mean, if it's fulfilling their purpose.
They don't need to, but that just sets Dash up for failure in the future. Once there is a better delivery method and sending method, Dash is fast. Dash is very fast. It's very reliable, and Bitcoin is not, right? But once there is a proper delivery method, and Lightning Network or whatever other protocol upgrades or centralized solutions, kind of like PayPal meets Bitcoin. Once those things kind of take off, I think Dash is going to be left in the wayside.
Yeah.
Also, with traditional marketing, so these big companies will do these marketing campaigns and see which gains the most traction, and then they'll dedicate a certain amount of money towards that campaign, and they pretty much know what they're going to get back. With these crypto companies, they just seem to be spending all this money on marketing, and I heard Dash was doing that, spending a lot of money but not getting a lot back. And you also got to watch out for crypto companies that do it running up to when their team and advisor tokens unlock as well. So they want to push the price up so they can sell their tokens into that liquidity. So these are the things you got to watch out for with blockchain marketing.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Well, all right. I mean, it's been about an hour here, guys. Any closing thoughts?
I was upset about the Marshall Islands. I think they got the non-confidence vote to have that crypto.
Really?
I was looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Wait, is the Marshall Islands the one that the British fought the Argentinians? That was Falkland Islands.
That was the Falkland Islands.
Yeah. Well, where's the Marshall Islands?
Somewhere over there.
Somewhere over there.
In the ocean. Yeah.
Pretty sure it's in the Caribbean. One or the other.
It's a smaller island than Australia. Anyway, they were going to have a cryptocurrency as their national currency, but it looks like they got a non-confidence vote. But it seems like the president survived it in the sense that he'll stay in power. So
they're going to do it.
One thing I
don't think they are now.
I think the only thing that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I thought I had read the last article I read that there was a no confidence vote, but something happened and they were still going to be able to push forward and it was a victory. Maybe I got that completely wrong.
Okay, yeah, well, I hope so.
That's what happens when I try to read. I get the totally wrong idea of what I'm reading. That's why I listen to audiobooks.
Nice. Now, I was going to say the only news that really stuck out to me was the XRP and IMF talk. Who was that guy? The CEO of XRP?
Brad
Garlinghouse.
Yeah, yeah. I really think that's an interesting conversation. The fact of the matter is that XRP, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the product as a whole, they're the ones who are actually really building up partnerships and having connections with institutions. So
that money.
Yeah, exactly. Like they have the money, and I can't hit on that. Like at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm not an XRP hater at all. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I mean, I understand if you are an XRP hater, but I really like money. So,
well, my thing is, well, first of all, I don't like the centralized nature, and I don't like how they brainwash their people into thinking it's decentralized. But the thing is in my opinion, I'm all for Bitcoin being world currency. Completely what one of you guys were saying a minute ago. Like, yeah, in America it may not make sense, and for the euro it may not make sense. For China, it may not make sense, but for the other 5 billion people in the world where it costs the countries more money to print their money than their money is worth, it makes sense. And so I think we will move to a place where a digital currency, hopefully Bitcoin, will be the world currency of most the countries. And in that case, that's where I want us to move. And I feel like long-term, XRP and Bitcoin don't really make sense existing in the same world, because if XRP's main thing they're doing is sending fiat back and forth very quickly internationally, then that's why it makes no sense for them to say like a $589 XRP. The basis for that, if all the money in the world is traded using XRapid, then that's what the price would be. But if everybody was doing that, then everybody would already have switched to digital money. So it doesn't even make sense. So that's just like long term. I don't think Bitcoin and XRP can coexist, and by long term I mean 5 to 10 years. Of course, over the short term, it's going to do very well.
I'll compete that argument saying, this is a pretty big like in my entrepreneurship class. I don't know why it stuck with me. One of my professors said, why is Apple so good? What made them so incredible? Hey, other people were doing similar things and similar feats, but why didn't they create a phone like Apple, right? It's just because they didn't do it. And you can't sit around and wait for Bitcoin improvement and Lightning Network and all these other improvements. That's honestly going to take, I think, 10 to 15 years for, I think it's going to take at least another 5 years for Rootstock to actually be usable, right? Even though, quote unquote, it is usable right now, these smart contracts on Bitcoin, I don't think it's actually feasible for anyone to actually use Rootstock for, a mass usage, right? Even with Lightning Network.
But wouldn't you make the argument, Sneh, that any technology, right, any innovative technology, right, it really takes about at least a 20 to 30 year curve to have mass adoption. I'm talking about mass adoption. Like in the 90s, you could not even make an argument that internet was a huge thing. Right. But 10 years later, 20 years later, I mean, everyone, you're like, pretty much a nomad if you don't have internet, right?
No, I agree with that, but that's pretty much saying, hey, Bitcoin is the standard. That's everyone agreeing that Bitcoin is the standard. And I don't think, I mean, I love Bitcoin and I hope it does very well, but I don't see Bitcoin excelling to that sorts of heights. Maybe a distant fork where it's proof of stake, it's much greener, it's faster, thousands of transactions per second, and all the Bitcoin holders get some sort of airdrop from the previous one. Maybe that will be it. But yeah. To me, I feel like, yes, there's a standard now where it's Android and Apple. That's the standard, right? The internet, the HTTP protocol, that is the standard, right? That is the standard. The internet that we use today, that is the standard internet that everyone talks about, right? So I think this space is so young that we haven't really created that standard per se.
Or will we never have a standard and we move to a fully tokenized world, which is It's what some people think. Some people think that's where we're going.
Andreas says that. Antonopoulos, he says that quite a bit. He's like,
John McAfee says it. I mean,
yeah, it's very possible.
So, but that being said, I think there needs to be a standard, because if you really do believe in a quote unquote global economy, and that we're all becoming globalists, where the whole world is acting on its best interests, almost like something in a dystopian future where we have not dystopian future, but not punk rock. What am I trying to say? A punk future where the whole globe operates as one single entity, right? That's the eventuality. Everyone is going to come under one single banner, and we're going to fight aliens in Independence Day. That's
right before we're plugged into the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
I think my final thought on this topic right here is that this is something that I heard on a podcast, and it was really interesting. I think it was Caitlin Long that mentioned it. Is if you think of the future from the frame of reference of today, you're never going to be able to imagine as widely, right? And the thing is, Bitcoin, blockchain, and crypto are solutions to a problem that I don't even think we know yet.
Yeah,
that's really all it is. I just don't. I am not smart enough to admit that, I have no idea what Bitcoin is going to do and solve a problem, but I already see that there are, fractures in the world, and especially in the financial economies across the world, that need fixing. And I at least can see that Bitcoin can do that far better than anything else, because it is truly decentralized. I definitely can't say that about Ethereum or XRP or pretty much nothing else.
But that being said, when there's a big banking conference or making introductions, hey, like Fidelity or PNC or Bank of America, who from Bitcoin is going over there, spending their money, saying, hey, please put in Bitcoin? No,
Jimmy Song.
But Ripple is okay. Ripple has a lot of those banking connections, and I think they're good for the state of cryptocurrencies, because it provides introductions into a lot of these banks, which will eventually be, as soon as these banks get a little bit more confidence and they understand the infrastructure of blockchain technology and what it entails, the security precautions and the database requirements, then I think Bitcoin could finally move into these big banks and big infrastructures and actually have these cross-border payments actually happening using Bitcoin. I think Ripple is a perfect stepping stone for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think Bitcoin's going to remain the ultimate crypto financial instrument to base derivatives on as well. But emerging countries, are going to want their own crypto. They want to create their own. They'll have quite sophisticated financial models and projections, and the crypto will be based around what they need. I see a lot of countries doing this before we might have one that other countries adopt, and they see that one works the best and will adopt that. I don't think it's going to be Bitcoin. I think that'll be its own entity for its own uses.
Yeah. No,
good point.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Completely agree.
Cool.
Well, cool,
hey,
guys.
for our final thoughts, can we all just not like shill a coin shamelessly, but rather like at least give one reason why you have a reason to shill your coin?
No one say Monarch, all right? We already know. We've shilling up Monarch enough. No one say Monarch. Go download it on the app stores.
Okay.
All right? But no one say that.
I'll say GoChain. I'll say GoChain because they just partnered with Monarch.
No.
Nice.
Hey!
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, GoChain's all right, but I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen to all these scalability solutions. I think somebody posted that. Was it you, Amal? Who posted
About
that? It was you or we or somebody. What's going to happen to Radiant Network and GoChain when Ethereum starts to actually upgrade? Like all these sidechain solutions that are built off of
works.
And it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. But GoChain has a pretty big head start now, so
yeah,
don't count on catching them.
James, Jason, shill.
Well,
go ahead, James.
I'm looking at just for a midterm play, not necessarily a long-term hold. Zilliqa has a release. What's the DApp release? A major one on the 29th of December, and then 31st of December, and then the 31st, and then January the 31st they have the mainnet, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to see a run up soon. So that I think will be a good buy, but I don't see it as a long-term hold.
Nice.
As in years.
That's true.
I was gonna say Zilliqa, but I guess I'll take the easy cop out and say right now Stellar I think is my move, just because I think I think it's highly likely that it will be one of the next tokens to get listed on Coinbase. I've always been an XLM supporter anyway since the inception, which probably accounts a lot for my bias against Ripple. Take that for what you will. But yeah, I think Stellar probably, or if not, I always say Monero is a good long term.
Nice.
I would like to actually shill a coin though. Basic attention token. I love basic attention token. It's been my favorite project for a very long time. It hasn't always been my biggest bag, but I think that the Coinbase listing was great. On my channel, I predicted it would be on Coinbase even before they announced the announcement that they were thinking about putting it on. Of course, you know, there's some tweets from Brian Armstrong a long time ago about how he liked basic attention token. But the whole thing about that project is, to me, and if you take out all of the store value coins out of the top 100, and you say what project has the best working product right now, it's Brave Browser, it's basic attention token. I can't even think of anything that's close, honestly. So, and I think that the Brave Browser has so much momentum right now. It's just going to continue to get bigger. It just had an upgrade. Now it's 22% faster. I use it, you know, for all my videos, and I definitely think basic attention token is a really solid play. I actually did a video where I said my top 3 projects that I think will definitely be around in 3 to 5 years, and basic attention token is the lowest one that made my list. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right, my shell. Well, so James and Jason definitely took my 2, which were Stellar and Zilliqa. But this is something that I mentioned to our Advantage members. And so, you know, whoever's listening right now, you basically got 5 pretty awesome shills. Mine is Wax, World Asset Exchange. So the reason I mentioned Wax, at least in our channel, and this was like 2-3 weeks ago, is because they are actually targeting the gaming market. So the digital market where goods are, you know, bought and sold, right? It's actually like a $50 billion market already. And it's obviously, you know, one of the most heavily used markets, clearly, because gaming is not stopping anytime soon. People buy and sell, right? Quite a bit. And Wax is targeting that market with their digital tokens to be able to capture, you know, pretty significant size of it. So Wax.
Another one that's already being used.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yep, exactly.
I would like to do my classic shill, and it's going to be GVT for me. Definitely GVT for me. So their product is actually fully live now. It's only been 2 weeks, and it's been a great success. Nice. Allegedly, I'm American, so I can't use it, right? So, but they're coming out with American regulations soon and compliance laws soon. So, no, but it's such a cool idea, and just the tokenomic structure is just so brilliant that.
Which project is this?
GVT, Genesis Vision.
Oh, Genesis. Okay, yeah.
So, and they only have 4 million coins in existence, so it's very easy to pump up. I don't know. I'm saying don't go out and buy it. You know, I think it could get actually lower. I think it could get down to $8. But I think it's so great, and I love it. That's it.
That's what she said.
That is my show. No, I mean, it's a good idea. Honestly, it's just a good idea. Exchange managed funds, crypto managed funds, where hey, you have a BitBoy currency now, and whatever you invest in with whatever I give you money in, you're able to invest in products like that. And there's a couple other companies.
The ultimate, put your money where your mouth is.
Black Moon Crypto, Brick Block, LA Token. They have all those 3 or those 4 that I named. They all do similar things, but the only one with a functional product out is GVT, and I really like the idea and the concept, so that's why I like it. That's it.
Hey, Amit wants a bonus shill.
What does he want to shill?
I mean, the bonus shill's Monarch, of course, obviously.
Oh,
yeah. The only ICO I've ever invested in.
Yeah. Really? Is that true?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well,
it
I'm
is.
glad to have you on board.
Yeah, well, I believe in what you guys are doing. I think it's gonna be big.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did just partner with GoChain. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I announced that just a minute ago, if you remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. So go download the app. Join our free Discord channel, and please follow BitBoy Crypto. Yeah, and you could use the banner above, and we'll leave your link below, BitBoy, and you can use our banner above to. Or you can't really use it. Just type in that address and you'll be able to get to the free Discord lounge. Anyways, really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. And thanks again for BitBoy Crypto for being on the channel, man.
Glad to be on. It was fun.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys.
All right.